Hello everyone. Let's talk about super compensation mode today, along with refeeding and how they affect not just the scales but also your appearance overall. So my objective with a lot of my clients is to get them into some sort of super compensation mode. And different coaches will phrase that differently, different trainers will phrase it differently, but I call it super compensation mode, and it goes hand in hand with having a refeed day. You really can't have one without the other. Like, it is the concept of earning your refeed day or your cheat meal or your refeed or whatever you want to call it. It really does go or coincide with that. So super compensation mode is the way that we deplete the muscles and the tissues of carbohydrates or glycogen and fat, basically. So a lot of people don't know that the muscles and tissues, they don't only store glycogen, they also store fat. So my objective is to get my clients into super compensation mode, not just for the fat loss and aesthetics aspect of things, but for the health aspect and the mitochondrial aspect too. So super compensation mode is the way that we deplete or we tap into your stores of glycogen and fat, and we use them for our fuel. And we want to pretty much deplete these tissues. For some people, we can do it on a Monday to Friday or 1 week scenario. Some people, we can do it on a 2 week scenario where you're taking the body into a state where it's using up all of its glycogen and fat that are in the muscles and the tissues, and even getting you to tap into body fat for fuel, which is ideal, which is what a lot of people want. Now, why would we do this? Well, we do it because we want to, one, train your body how to use its own fuel, tap into that metabolism and improve metabolic flexibility. But also on the other end of your super compensation, we want to then bring in some sort of carb reload or refeed or something that then is going to have this hormonal triggering response where we're going to kind of bounce back in regards to metabolism and energy and strength when it comes to the muscles, and even resiliency, and then resetting all the other good hormones like leptin and thyroid hormones. So the process is really, really important, and it's very, very effective if it's done correct and if it's done full stop. Because the thing with super compensation mode for a couple of people, especially people who have been maybe training for a long time, maybe people have been on stage and they're very in tune with their body, they're already somewhat lean, but maybe they want to lose 10 pounds or something, but they're in tune with their body and they can see if their body is full or got a pump like at the gym, or if it looks depleted, which is what we're trying to do. So although that can be scary and worrying to some people, it can really be that mind messing that a lot of people are not great with dealing with. And when you look in the mirror, if you are put into super compensation mode, yes, some people love it because they look leaner, they look skinny, maybe their abs, their belly, it looks tighter, it looks slimmer, because you've depleted all that glycogen and the fat and even some of the fluids that you would have been retaining. Because again, glycogen binds 1 gram of glycogen, which is your carbohydrates or your sugar, it binds to 4 grams of water. So if we're depleting the glycogen, of course we're depleting the water as well. And when that happens, not only will you look like skinny, your waist might look slimmer, everything looks maybe tighter. For some people, they can look flat. They may not look like their muscles are full. They may look like their skin is a bit looser. And that's okay, because that's what we want, because it's part of the process. You have to do one thing to get to another thing and then to reap the rewards. And it's kind of that cycle. You have to do this to get to there, to do that, and we keep doing it and doing it. And it's not just for fat loss. We do this with hormones and everything. Like, we need to do this so we can sleep right, so that can do that. Like, there's always a process with everything. But when it comes to super compensation, some people can stress. Again, some people love it. They look really skinny. Other people, their muscles look flat and maybe a little saggy because you've pulled out the glycogen and the water and even the fat. Now, we want to get you into super compensation mode, because when you get super compensation means you've depleted everything. We've pushed you into burning body fat in a healthy way, in a balanced way. We've pushed you into burning body fat, tapping into your own fat stores. So not just at the end of super compensation, while you're doing all this depletion, you're also starting to tap into body fat, tap into body fat, tap into body fat. So then you get to the end of the week or the end of 10 days or 2 weeks, and then you bring in some sort of carb meal, carb reload, refeed day, something like that. And you're bringing in all these carbs again, which immediately, even some fat, which immediately get pulled back into the muscle, which has been depleted, gets pulled back into the ligaments, the tissues, the uterine line, wherever you have depleted your stores. All of that sugar from your carb meal is going to get pulled back in there. And with it, what does it pull with it? Well, it pulls 4 grams of water for every 1 gram of carbohydrate. So when you do that, then you look fuller. Your muscles look like you've got a pump. They look like they're full. For some people, this is great. For other people, they feel like they're puffy, or they look puffy, or they look swollen. And it may not even be the case that they are. It's just that you're having all this water bound to the glycogen, and you've just refilled all your reserves again, which is awesome, because when you refill, you're encouraging that good metabolism cycle. You're also resetting all of the hormones, and you're basically, and I say this all the time, and I always think of the Care Bears when I say this. Like, I think there was one Care Bear called Sir Hugs-a-Lot or something like that. But carbohydrates, they basically give your body a hug. That's what they do. They say, it's okay. We've got loads of food here. No need to stress. You can calm down. You can make thyroid hormone. You can boost the metabolism again. You can have a period, because I'm sure many of you know that when you go too low carb and too low calorie over certain amounts of time, and everyone is different, you will lose your period, or a lot of women will start to notice a lighter period, or they'll skip a month here or there. But when you have carbs, you give your body this hug and you say, hey, it's okay. And this is really good for not just your metabolism, but like I mentioned, your thyroid, but also your adrenals. If you're very stressed, carbohydrates are great for that. Now, in context, it doesn't mean I'm saying eat carbs every time you're stressed, but they're great. They will support your body in context, and especially like the right carbs, the best carbs. So then once we do bring back in this carb meal, and everybody is different. Some people, it might just be one carb meal that'll blow them up. Or for another person, they need a whole refeed day. It depends on how much muscle you have, your height, male, female, time of the month, all of that. But then when you bring back in that carb meal, like I said, some people are like, great, I look buff. I've got like the swelling in my muscles, but it's not real swelling. It's like the water. And for some people, they look puffy, swollen, and they don't like that. But regardless, apart from how you look, the aesthetic aspect, what will happen on the scales then? Well, you've had this refeed or even one refeed meal, which makes me laugh. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So you have this refeed, and not only are you bringing in all this glycogen, you're bringing all this water with it. So what happens then on the scales? Well, the scales can be up 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds. Some women will hold on to 6 pounds of fluid after one refeed day. And that may not come off for 4 or 5 days later. It depends on the woman, her activity level, her detoxification pathways. Does she have good circulation? How is she eating in the following days? So it really depends. But you're going to step on the scales and you're going to be up. Are you going to panic? Well, no, because that's not real weight. That's not body fat at all. It couldn't be. It's not possible. So here's the thing, and I really want people to understand this, because I have a thing where I want my clients to only weigh once a week in a certain way on the same day if possible, at the same time. Like I try to be as vigilant as I can with that to try get the most accurate result, because most people don't have a DEXA scan in their house. So like we want to just refine it as much as we can so we can get the most accurate result. And that is not even always accurate, because you might get your period, you might have a poor sleep, you might have a head cold, you might have had a very stressful day yesterday, maybe you didn't drink enough water. There's all these variables, full moon, that we can't control, but we're trying to get it as accurate as we can. So you weigh and you're up on the scales, but that's not body fat. That is the carbs, the fluid retention, and some inflammation, depending on how sensitive you are to carbs as well. Did you have gluten? Are you sensitive to gluten? Was there some grease there? Grease will inflame you. There's a lot of variables, but the point is, apart from the aesthetic aspect, the scales aspect, that's not weight. So here's the thing, and I'll try round out the numbers to make it easier. So it takes 3,500 calories to make 1 pound of fat. 3,500 calories. Most women are not eating that on a daily basis. Most women are somewhere between 1,500 and, I don't even want to say 2,000. Most women are 1,500, 1,800. Whether or not they should be more is individual, but from what I see, it's for 1,500 to 1,800. So it takes 3,500 calories to make 1 gram of fat. You push your body into super compensation mode, let's say Monday to Friday. You deplete all your glycogen stores, all your fat stores, your water, all of that. And water loss, when reflected on the scales, it is an accurate result, because you don't want to be weighing water. We want to weigh your body weight, like when UFC or boxing do their weigh-in. They want to be depleted of water so they get an accurate body weight. Anyway, you're in super compensation mode from Monday to Friday, and you've tapped out all of your stores and you've tapped into burning body fat, which is amazing. And then you step on the scale Saturday morning, you're happy with your results, and you have a refeed day. So let's say that you have 5,000 calories on that Saturday. Well, first, as soon as you consume all those calories, what happens? Well, you start refilling the depleted stores. Those calories start going back into the muscle tissue and wherever else. And if you have a lot of muscle, that's a lot of calories being sucked back into the muscle. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you sucked 1,500 calories back into all the muscle tissue out of 5,000. And then let's say you had another 1,500 calories used for energy to just stay alive on the Saturday, just pottering around, maybe clean the house, go get the groceries, do the dishes. So you've got 1,500 calories sucked back into the muscles and the tissues. 1,500 calories just surviving, just doing your thing. So that's 3,000 calories. That leaves you with 2,000 calories. And you have to consider how different food is digested, how calories present based on how they're cooked, or if they're paired with vinegar or lemon or something else. But let's just say you've 2,000 calories left over of your 5,000 calories, and it takes 3,500 calories to make 1 pound. Well, that 2,000 calories may not even make half a pound for a start. But you stand on the scales on Sunday and you panic because you're like, oh my God, I just gained 5 or 6 pounds from my refeed day. But when you do the math, you're like, no, you didn't. That's impossible. You didn't. And you definitely didn't. So you see how that works. And you see how dare I say, the mind fuck works, where people will obsess over the numbers and even how they look, even though the whole law, the numbers, the scales, how you look, if you look full, if you look flat, like the whole lot is part of the process. And it's really, really important to understand that, because it's the mind fuck that can cause you to throw in the towel and give up. And I suppose the key word there is it is a process. It's a process. It's not let's try this for 1 week. Oh my God, I look flat. I'm going to give up. This is not for me. No, it's a process. You have to trust the process. So we want to get you into super compensation mode so we can get you refueled and refeeding and enjoying life with refeed day or a birthday party or Christmas or whatever it is, so that we can get you to spiking your metabolism, upregulating thyroid hormone, supporting the adrenals, reset your leptin hormones, bring the strength into your muscles. So even if you're in super compensation mode, and I get this all the time, and it actually ends up building stronger muscles because you build more mitochondria through going through super compensation. But by Wednesday or Thursday, I'm like looking super lean, super thin in the gym. Maybe my workouts are feeling a little bit more challenging. I'm struggling, like I can still lift the weight, but I can feel it's more challenging. Like I just don't have that oomph in me. But then I get my results on Saturday. I get my refeed day, which refills everything. I do my hardest training sessions on Saturday or Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, and I'm pumping out great workouts and I'm burning up. I managed to have all of this yummy refeed food, whatever you choose, whatever I choose. I have all of this. I get epic workouts, my muscle strength bounces back, my anabolism spikes, so I build more muscle, and not just that, bone, tissues, hair, stem cells, brain cells, everything. I build more, and I've had all this amazing yummy food. May not have been so healthy, but this is where we're looking for balance, but I'm not getting any of the damage of this food. So it's really important for people to understand this. And this is part of earning your refeed, earn your cheat day, earn your vacation, earn your Christmas treats, whatever it is. You have to earn it. There has to be a balance. But the mind fuck needs to be understood, because that's one thing that can cause you to say, no, this is not for me. Oh my God, I look terrible in the mirror. My workouts are suffering or whatever. But it's part of the process. And you have to trust the process. So I hope that makes sense. This has came up a couple of times with a few people. Usually my more refined kind of athletes and training clients, because they can get worried over looking flat and not having like the strength or the pump. But it really is so important to like trust the process. This is part of the cycle to get you where you want to be. And it really is so good for hormones, and it's sustainable as well. You have to have balance. This is an awesome way to have balance physiologically and psychologically. And like you have to, we all know you can't eat and do whatever you want and just expect to have the health and body. You have to find balance, and this is a great way to find balance. Whereas if you were to just follow a 12-week challenge or a 4-week meal plan or something, that's going to be really, really hard, not just on your body and your hormones, but on your mental state as well. Not getting a break, not getting to go out maybe on date night, maybe your marriage is suffering, or your relationship or your kid's birthday, and you need the social aspect. So this is a great way to find balance and speed up your results as well. So as always, if you've any questions at all, please reach out to me. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, Shmane's Model Health, shmanesmodelhealth.com. You can leave a comment under here on YouTube. Some of you might have my email, some of you might have my phone number, but you'll be able to reach me somewhere, and I'll answer your questions if you have any or give you a bit more direction. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Bye.